Mother Nature is more powerful than any man-made bomb. More ferocious and destructive than any army. Every day she claims more victims, showing no mercy and taking no prisoners.
Fire's coming this way, Chris, and it's moving.
I'm Chris Terrill. As a filmmaker and adventurer, I'm fascinated by extreme situations. I never use a film crew. I prefer to go it alone, just me and my camera. And now I want to confront nature head-on, take my camera into her very jaws.
Out in a hailstorm like you have never seen. The thing's coming down at 100 miles an hour. That hurts. Ah!
I want to meet the people who live in the path of killer natural forces.
Oh my God!
Who choose to play Russian roulette with nature at her most trigger-happy. This time, I go in search of the massive superstorms that visit India every year. Storms that bring life-giving rains and sustenance one day, but death and destruction the next. Floods and tidal surges can claim many innocent victims, including, very nearly, myself.
Here comes a huge wave now.
This is the elusive, unpredictable and hazardous monsoon. The great monsoon rainstorms, spawned in the Arabian Sea, start to arrive in India usually towards the end of June. So, in an attempt to be there for the first of them, I head for the west coast and India's smallest state, Goa. It's the 24th of June, known as St. Jow Day, traditionally a day of ritual and celebration to invoke and welcome the annual monsoon rains that all Indian farmers depend on.
No matter what, it always rains on this day. So we're hoping it'll rain today.
St. Jow Day, a fusion of Christianity and ancient tradition, marks the end of a long, hot, dry season. But the monsoon rains have been known to fail. And so far today, it is ominously dry, not a rain cloud in sight.
It's only festival in the rainy season, and this year we don't have rain. It's the first time probably after 10 to 12 years.
But even without the rains, water and wetness rule the day, and in a wider sense, liquid, port wine and rum. The aim is to get very wet and very sozzled.
This will go on all day, and it'll be fueled by good spirits and also the other sorts of spirits as well. I think people get quite happy during the course of this monsoon festival.
The fact that I don't normally drink is no excuse today.
Cheers.
Oh well, when in Rome. It's also required that the St. Jow Day revellers jump into every household well. Yet another ritual to summon the rains, and all the more fun when you've had a few.
You want to jump? Okay. Take a jump.
I thought the time would come. It's now required that I jump into a well. There we go. The theme of water, the theme of just deluge and being soaked, it's all representative, of course, of the idea of the monsoon, these incredible rains that come to India every year. All very symbolic of growth, prosperity and hope.
We love the rains. Everywhere you see, everything is green, nice again.
Yeah.
The plants have a good bath. It's like a shower for the plants.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you see them all like brown. You see them like green, nice. It's amazing. Get wet, get dry, get wet, get dry. I just love the rains.
By mid-morning, I'm getting more used to this drinking lark.
Here we go again. Viva San Joe.
And I've grown determined to do my bit to bring on the rains.
The question now, of course, is whether all these festivities and the prayers are actually going to bring on the rains, and that there hasn't been a day like this, a day of festivities like this, St. Giles Day, ever. I'm told that it hasn't rained. So, looking at the clouds to see whether there's any likelihood. So far, well, there are clouds, but not rain just yet. I can now play. After so many port wines, I'm now able to play magically a new musical instrument.
Finally, after every conch shell has been blown and every well has been jumped, boats make their way out to a sacred cross set in the sea to lay garlands. A final entreaty to God to send the life-giving rains upon which India depends for its very survival. And if this doesn't work, I'm told nothing will.
It's going to rain now. See the breeze, no? When it blows like this, it's coming.
Is it?
Rain has come! We are Sanjay! We are flying into the swimming pool!
As soon as the rains come, every swimming pool in Goa is open to the public.
So it's raining. We can't get any wetter than we already are in the swimming pool. But once again, the prayers have been answered today. The day of St. Giles, and the monsoons have come after all, even though they look like they weren't going to.
And Priscilla, of course, is now one happy lady.
Right, Chris, it's amazing!
In the monsoons, you're going to get wet, so there's no point in hiding from it particularly. It's just a matter of letting it happen. It's a beautiful, fresh, warm rain as well. Very, very invigorating.
I now intend to chase the monsoon across the subcontinent. Watch and experience its impact on the body, mind, and even spirit of India. But tracking it won't be easy. The monsoon is famously fickle, a hit-and-run merchant that can take many forms. A sporadic cloudburst here, a sudden downpour there. It can bring rains that nourish, feed, and nurture in one place, but a biblical deluge that devastates and kills somewhere else. Or it may pass by altogether, without delivering a single raindrop. It just depends on the mood of the rain gods.
Ladies and gentlemen, please check if your seat.
I'm in pursuit of the great Indian monsoon, the notoriously elusive rainstorms that visit the subcontinent every year. And I've decided to try and second-guess the rain gods by going where they would least expect me to look. The largest state in India, Rajasthan, meaning land of colours, and set in the parched and arid northwest, baked and scorched by an unrelenting sun.
Believe me, this is about as dry as you can imagine anywhere could get. This is the Thar Desert in Rajasthan in northwest India. This place enjoys no more than 2 inches of rain a year, but you can't depend on monsoons. They have minds of their own, and right now the people are getting very worried in this part of the world as to whether the rains might arrive.
For Bajri Obey and his family, this is a harsh and arid environment to survive in. They live a hand-to-mouth existence, and the monsoon, if and when it comes, is more precious to them than you or I could ever imagine.
बरसात मौसम तो जरूर है सा दलर वास्ते हड़न वास्ते हरे पेड़ जरा नीला रही मैं बाहर पानी समस्या आई को आई समस्या मिठी बरसात लौटी को जन भाई बरसात जाने खुशी जो जन तो हैं तो पता है लहर लग जाए तरह
Whilst waiting for the monsoon, Anisha Divya draws on sparse water reserves to keep the young saplings from withering.
ये बोल्टी है ची घास बरसात
घास में हो जाता है
घास बरसात हुई वैसा और पेड़ पौधा में पेड़ लगेगा ये इधर खत्म में पानी डालती है सिर पर डालती है पानी के लिए यूँ है कि बारिश नहीं होएगी तो दूर दूर से आते हैं कम से कम 15 किलोमीटर दूर से पानी आते हैं 500 टिबिया लेते हैं टैंकर का ऐसी परेशानी होती है
Water is in extremely short supply here. The village reservoir, already very salty through evaporation, is dwindling fast. It badly needs replenishing.
Everybody's waiting for the monsoons to arrive. And when I say everybody, I do mean everybody, including these guys right behind me now. They're taking it easy, very sensibly. They don't want to work up too much of their thirst. Not before there's some nice fresh rain to drink anyway.
I wait in Rajasthan for a week, but still the monsoons do not come. I begin to realise just how capricious they are, especially when I hear that whilst I've been waiting, the rains have arrived in Assam, in the east of the country, and in no uncertain way.
The monsoon rains have arrived in Assam with a vengeance. Flooding has become critical, with the main Brahmaputra river reaching danger level at several places. Unknown numbers have been displaced, and there are reports of some people drowned. Officials say that many homeless have set up...
Hearing the news, I head directly for Assam. I want to come face to face with the monsoon, stare into its eyes, see and feel its force. But when I get there, I find the rain gods have sidestepped me once again, though I can see the results of their handiwork. The great Brahmaputra river has burst its banks, so there's no way across. Well, perhaps one way.
The first challenge is to get the four-wheel drive vehicle onto the riverboat and then try and sail upstream in a very, very swollen river indeed.
Getting the car onto the boat requires a very steady hand, and that's down to my guide, known as Rock.
Hey Rock, have you done any stunt driving before?
Not much.
I would imagine the health and safety regulations around these parts are fairly what you might call flexible, especially when you've got to get a massive turbocharged 4x4 onto a small riverboat.
Let's go.
Well done.
Thanks.
With the 4x4 precariously perched on the riverboat, we head tentatively upstream. The monsoon must be around, lurking in the mountains probably. we go in search. The old piston engine struggles against the current and the extra weight on board, but soon it has to be turned off, as there's no way of knowing which is regular river and which is submerged floodplain. The last thing we need now is to run aground.
The Brahmaputra not that deep in parts because this is nearly flooded. There's no way of there's no navigation charts, so we're having to feel our way very gingerly upriver. And this guy with a bamboo pole is plumbing the depths. It's only a few feet.
On the horizon, storm clouds gather over the mountains, towering cumulonimbus, full of rain yet to be dropped. Goa celebrated the coming of the rains. In Rajasthan, they're still praying for them to arrive. But here, enough is enough.
Various parts of India have a different relationship with monsoons. We have plenty of water out here.
Don't need any more.
We don't need any more.
Nevertheless, in my quest to track down the monsoon, we push on into the interior of Assam, and we find everywhere is flooded. But the people here are accustomed to living with water, and lots of it. The rice farmers are happy enough. Their fields are nicely topped up. Well, in some cases, perhaps a little too topped up. And elsewhere, flooded farmland is yielding a new harvest of shrimp and small fish.
This whole area is underwater. The river's burst its banks, and these fields were, up to now, growing rice. So this guy here now, once possibly a rice farmer, has reverted, at least temporarily, to being a fisherman. So they do adapt.
And in these floods, you can forget regular vehicles. They just get stuck. What you need is one of these, with natural four-wheel drive. This is Konshu, 45 years old. She's helping to repair a railway line washed away by the floodwaters.
So you're not going to get heavy machinery down here during the monsoons. Every fields are flooded. So some of the more traditional methods of getting things around and transporting things are used, like this old girl here. Very effective and very beautiful.
Indeed, as I'm finding out in monsoon-drenched India, sometimes the old ways are the best ways. I carry on up the valley to find increasing amounts of not only flooding, but also destruction. So much water has flowed down from the mountains that this entire bridge was washed away, and tragically, a lot of people with it.
So many people died. From there, dead bodies are coming in this side. In Assam border, many dead bodies were found.
The water, it's so powerful. People say, the eyewitness say it was about 2 meters. 2 meters. The wave, it's a tsunami.
There's no numbers at the moment. There's still recovering bodies. But you can see the huge power of this water. It washed away this culvert and this bridge, which they're now busy rebuilding. The engineers are in here, doing their best to put it back together again before the next rains arrive, which could be any day.
It's early in the monsoon season, but already there are fatalities and increasing numbers of homeless.
The other face of the monsoon, these people are displaced, effectively sort of refugees of the monsoon. They're now living in these temporary tarpaulin accommodations they've had to put up for themselves. They've been completely washed out of their houses by the flash floods. And you find these people all over this part of Assam. And of course this is going to happen again and again and again. It's just part of the way of life. They're incredibly fatalistic.
ইয়াতো দুখ পোৱা মানে ল'ৰাটোৱে জাষ্ট উঠি যোৱা নিচিনা হৈছিলে এইটো গৈছিলে ইয়াত নেক্সট আমাৰ য'ত ভাঙিলে নেকি
And still people prepare for worse to come. Even children help to shore up river dikes, just in case. So, do I stay here and wait for the monsoon to come to me, or continue to chase it across India? I've heard that Mumbai, India's largest city, is currently bracing itself for the monsoon's arrival. So that's where I head for, and this time the rain gods do deliver. In fact, more than I bargained for. A lot more. I'm chasing the monsoon storms of India, so far without success. In Rajasthan, the rains just never came. In Assam, I got there too late, just missing the deluge that put much of the state underwater. But now I'm heading to Mumbai on the west coast. India's biggest city, I'm told, is bracing itself for the monsoon's imminent arrival. Mumbai, formerly Bombay, is fast-paced, noisy, frenetic, brimming over with hustle and bustle, and normally bathed in sunshine.
Well, it's a Saturday in Mumbai and everybody's out for the Constitutional down the promenade, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the, at the moment, clement weather. But of course it could rain at any moment, and the Mumbaians know that. And if this coincides with the high tide, then the prospect or the risk of flooding gets very real indeed. And this is becoming apparently a much greater problem because of global warming. So the monsoons coinciding with high tide, and add to that global warming, then you've got a potentially disastrous climatic cocktail.
Well, with everyone looking over my shoulder, many are also quick to warn me that monsoon flooding is almost inevitable and something of a city scandal. They also keep telling me that whilst I'm waiting for the rains, I must talk to well-known actor turned monsoon activist Adike Pedempsey, who, apropos nothing at all, co-starred in the film Gandhi opposite Ben Kingsley. Anyway, Adike is expecting the worst of the imminent monsoon.
Bombay at high tide, when it rains, is terrible because it becomes another Venice. It goes underwater. The high tide comes in, it backs into all the pipes that are leading out to the sea to get rid of, all the extra water and so on. And then there's very little you can do. They don't seem to have a good mechanism which closes off the pipes in high tide so that it won't flood. But there's no doubt about it. Our drains are supposed to be about 150 years old, set in by the good old British Raj. But now these drains are incapable of dealing with the current population. In those days, the population of Bombay was between 2 and 3 million. Today it's estimated the population of Bombay is 18 to 20 million. So the same drains are trying to cope and they can't.
And by all accounts, when the rains do come, the place is gripped by a sort of monsoon madness. There are already signs. The raging monsoon seas, getting angrier by the minute, have become a dangerous playground for street urchins, showing off to tourists and passers-by. The hot Mumbai sun has faded behind an ever-darkening sky. People know what's coming, but the looming storm clouds are biding their time, toying with us, taunting, teasing, behaving like the girls of Mumbai, according to my interpreter, Krishna.
Normally we say don't wait for girls and rain because we can't predict when it is comes and when it goes. So I'm sorry for girls, it's a saying, just it's a joke. So normally we say that you can't trust the rain and the girls of Bombay.
Now you're in trouble.
Sorry, please, sir. It's a joke.
The monsoon means different things to different people. To the umbrella seller, it's economic opportunity. To young lovers, it's romance.
As one grew up, and certainly in college days when you began to get girlfriends and stuff like that, then the monsoons was a very romantic time, because if you were indoors and it was raining outside, and Bombay is normally sun the whole year round, then suddenly it would be cloudy and there would be a certain atmosphere, you know. And I always remember the song by Ella Fitzgerald when I was in college. Evening shadows make me blue when each weary day is through. I always remember that, and that was very romantic for all of us. We're all kind of very romantically inclined towards the monsoon.
Evening shadows make me blue when each weary day is through.
The monsoon has a very strong hold in us, on our psyche. It's a season where people get kind of introverted. The normal Indian is very extroverted. He laughs a lot, he cries a lot, he gesticulates, and oh my God, and this. But in the monsoons, we all kind of become a little more philosophical and kind of internalize a lot of things. So it's a very internal time, I'd say, the monsoons.
But not everyone is internalizing and philosophizing. Far from it. The vast majority have little time for writing poetry or romancing. They're desperately trying to get their jobs done before the rains break. For many Mumbaians, the monsoon is a curse before it's a blessing, and right now they're in a race against time. Well, a race against the rains. These are the Dabawallas, who deliver thousands of lunches or tiffins to workers daily. The tiffins, made by wives, are picked up from their homes in the morning and delivered without fail to their husbands by midday. The Dabawallas, famous for their dependability, have a healthy disdain for the monsoons, like Gurumshe here.
छतरी आमच्याकडे नाही रेनकोट आणून देतो पैसे दे रेनकोट आपण आणू हमारा रेनकोट नहीं छतरी नहीं कुछ नहीं ऐसा है भागता है ऐसा दौड़ता है पानी ऊपर से आता है नीचे से निकल जाता है सब वो नहीं गिला उसको उसका अंदर डब्बा रहता है दूसरा हाँ दूसरा टिफिन रहता है कवर बीवर कुछ जरूरत नहीं कवर का क्या नो प्रॉब्लम आई डोंट नो क्या मैं क्या देखा
बारिश बहुत है तो भी काम रुकता नहीं
नहीं काम नहीं रुकता काम रुकेंगे खाना कौन खाएगा मजा आता है सर अभी देखो हमारे सब क्या मुस्कान है ना क्या इसका मैं छोटा मुंह करके बैठे ना ऐसा ये देखा था ऐसा खुशी रहो सबसे है नो टेंशन ओके
Still, for all that bravado, the Dabawallas are working at double speed today. They would rather beat the threatening rains than face them head on. Thousands of tiffins have to be delivered in time for lunch in just a couple of hours.
Well, this is the route of the Dabawala from the starting point and now by train into the centre of Mumbai. It's now about 11:15, so they should be where they're meant to be by lunchtime, and that of course is the plan. And so far the weather's been kind and the monsoons have held off so far.
This is the Dhobi Ghat, where the Dabawallas work, the Mumbai laundrymen who depend on the hot Indian sun to dry their washing. Others who really don't need the rains.
They don't like the monsoon because they can't dry the clothes. The rains come, they have to remove it again. They can wash 200 clothes per day, but in the monsoon they can't wash even 100 also clothes. It's all about the money because whatever they have to look after their livings.
The Dabawallas work a 16-hour day for 100 rupees, around £2. But on a wet day, making drying so much more difficult, the daily wage could plummet to under 50 rupees, £1. And this is often to support an entire family, many of whom live right here in extremely crowded conditions.
This small little hut, actually 20 people live in there. So they're either sleeping or they're working or they're eating. So you can understand that once the monsoons come, the rain comes and they can't dry their clothes properly anymore, that's digging into their already meagre profit margins. So the adobe wallers really hate the monsoons.
And here, in the Mumbai slums, the potters need the sun to dry their pots. The monsoons threaten their very livelihood. Here, I met one of the oldest residents living in the slum area. She's seen many monsoons in her time, but still doesn't even attempt to forecast their arrival.
आपको कैसा लगता है अभी 2-3 दिन में से बारिश आ सकता है बहुत आपको क्या लगता है आपको ऐसा
तो ऊपर का मर्जी है अपना हाथ में नहीं है उसके हाथ में है भगवान के हाथ में
it's all we don't know anything it's all rain god knows it's not in our hand everything is that guy rain god
अपना तो कुछ नहीं है
As the skies continue to darken, the umbrella repairers double their efforts to beat the rains. As do the dobe wallers at the open-air laundry, the potters in the slums, and the darba wallers now delivering the last of their tiffins in downtown Mumbai.
Still, thank goodness for them, the monsoons are holding off. They're not holding off everywhere. Certainly down on the coast, the monsoon tides are building up and coming in with quite a vengeance.
But whilst the monsoons might not be punctual, they are ultimately inevitable.
Well, I spoke too soon. The rains have just started.
The darba wallers have just made it, delivering the last of their tiffins as the heavens open. But for the dobe wallers and the laundry, the nightmare starts. The same for the potters, wet clay that won't dry. This is just the beginning of monsoon madness in manic Mumbai.
It's going to pour today. I can feel that because whole Mumbai, you can see it's afternoon time. Yeah. It looks like evening.
So Christian, like you were saying, very unpredictable. Suddenly it's dry.
See, that's what I said. You can't trust girls and you can't believe them, when they're coming and when it is going. So you can see monsoon till just few minutes back we were thinking it's not going to rain. Or it was playing with us. Now suddenly it's pouring. So I'm right now.
So you can't trust the girls, you can't trust the rains.
It's a joke, please, Don't take it seriously. It's a joke. Otherwise, all Bombay's girls are going to hate me.
I'm sure that won't be the case.
The first of the monsoon from Mumbai. It could last for minutes, hours, or even days. What is for certain is that in the next few weeks, the city will have approximately 80 to 90 inches of rain dropped on it and suffer increasingly turbulent seas. This may lead to flooding, risk of drowning, and increase in diseases like malaria or dengue. But to others, the opening of the heavens has brought blessed relief from the blistering heat.
I love monsoon because it cools you down.
So you, for one, are enjoying this?
Definitely. I love monsoon. I'm enjoying it now. But there are people, who is suffering from it. Like you saw that the people who is working, they need the sunlight to work. They are suffering. But from my side, I can say I'm enjoying it, and a lot of the guys, you can see they're enjoying the monsoon.
You like the monsoon?
Yeah.
You like being wet?
You can see they're not using the umbrella. Even I'm using umbrella now. That's because of you.
to keep the camera dry.
Yes.
I like getting wet as well,
but camera doesn't like. Nah. So that's the reason. He don't. I hate him. He doesn't like. Yeah.
But for people who don't like getting wet or don't have an umbrella, they can always shelter in one of the thousands of Mumbai cinemas that do booming business during the monsoons. These are places to escape the rains, escape reality, keep dry. Although the chances are there'll be more rain in the cinema, at least on the screen, courtesy of Bollywood.
The interesting thing about Bollywood, they love the idea of showing the monsoon in their films because, you know, the censor board here is very strict about skin show. Very strict. You know, cleavage, this, that and the other, very strict. So, for years and years, Bollywood has always drenched its heroines in rain. The rain dance is a very famous thing in Bollywood. And, you know, they always love to drench the heroine so that the clothes cling to the body. And even the so-called modest sari suddenly becomes very sensual and sexy and dances in the rain. And Indian dancing is very sexual. It uses a lot of the body movement and, you know. And particularly in a wet sari, whoa, you're talking eroticism of the highest caliber.
It rains for days on end without pause, and each day seems to get wetter than the day before. Soon, parts of Mumbai are completely underwater. The old British draining system has failed. We think we know about rain in Britain, but believe me, we haven't a clue. You want to know about rain? Come to Mumbai in the monsoon.
This is Dharavi, the biggest slum in Asia, and they're now having to adapt to these very, very heavy rains. Open drainage, not particularly good shelter in the first place, so when the monsoons come, these people really suffer. People are just packed together here. It's quite extraordinary. The density of population, I don't know what it is, but I mean, there are over 1 million people in this slum. And it must be difficult enough at the best of times to be able to make life work here, but when the rains start, it's virtually impossible.
And yet, people do get on with life, and the children still manage a smile.
There's a certain relentlessness about the monsoon. Once it starts, it looks like it's not going to finish. It just goes on and on and on. And the people here just have to get on as best they can, and often very much against the odds, to be honest.
And nowhere are the odds less favourable right now than on the Mumbai coast, being battered by increasingly ferocious seas. That is now where I head for, a decision I'm going to regret very dearly. I'm about to walk into a deadly monsoon mantra. In my attempt to understand the impact of the monsoon on India, I've come down to the Mumbai coast to see how the people who live here deal with the raging monsoon-driven seas.
Millions of people live on the coastal area. There's nowhere else to live. They're crammed into every nook and cranny of Mumbai. So they don't choose to live here, they have to live here. And they have to therefore contend with the worst that the monsoons bring in terms of these ferocious seas.
During the monsoon especially, the waves are big, huge waves, it comes up and it destroys the house.
high winds. That particularly 4 months, no, winds is very high winds coming here. Right?
Yeah, these 4 months, like monsoon season, it's very dangerous here in this part of the sea. Yeah.
There's a lot of fearing here, no? It's like lot of fear.
This is a very ferocious monsoon sea. The impact of these waves on the coastal area, obviously doing great damage to property, but also a great threat to life and limb as well. So monsoons are not just about rain, but also about the seas, ferocious seas at that.
Surrounded by an explosive sea, I give my second camera to Krishna, and then, invigorated by the moment, I venture further than I should. This is my own moment of monsoon madness.
This is what the people here had to contend with. Every day the tide comes in, the high tide, this sort of force of water is impacting on a lot of these houses down here. You've got some incredibly... Here comes a huge wave now.
A freak wave hurls me down an open manhole concealed in the breakwater. I'm sucked down and down. There seems to be no escape from the inevitable. My camera surfaces, miraculously still filming, and records the moment I'm dragged to safety by Krishna. Without him, I would have drowned. Every year, I'm to find out, 400 people die this way in Mumbai alone.
That is the force of these waves. That one took me completely by surprise. It went straight. There's a hole in this breakwater. Luckily they pulled me out just in time. I'm just visiting. These people have to deal with this sort of thing every single day. This really is the angry face of the monsoon.
I was so scared. I thought you're gone inside, really. What happened? I just threw the camera and I came to you. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked.
Well, not as shocked as I am.
Yeah.
Let's go home.
A few days later, I treat myself to a bit of time off and have tea in considerable comfort overlooking the sea that nearly claimed me.
I'm sitting in the cafe at the Hotel Taj, one of the poshest hotels in Mumbai, and watching life unfold on the promenade in front of the hotel on a typical monsoon day. It's extraordinary. Lovers under umbrellas, balloon sellers, umbrella sellers, but over there, a body has just been retrieved from the sea, quite possibly a victim of the ferocious monsoon seas. People are watching, but nobody's looking particularly distressed about it. It's just one of those things that happen. Makes me think how lucky I am. How lucky I was to have got away with it the other day. Makes me feel very strange, actually, very weird. Makes me think again this extraordinary sort of confusion of thinking about the monsoon. For so many millions, a life-giving rain, but putting this poor chap over here, a life-taking storm. The monsoon might give a lot, but it can also take.
I was told that the Indian monsoon had many faces. Well, I reckon I've seen a fair few in my chase across the subcontinent. From Goa in the west to Rajasthan in the north, from Assam in the east and to the great city of Mumbai. It's taught me a lot about the country and the people, but perhaps my greatest lesson has been a personal one. In this series, I've weathered hurricanes, survived tornadoes, and even firestorms. But it's here in India that the weather gods decided to teach me a lesson I will never, ever forget.